Figure skating is back! Hi everyone! It's officially figure skating season. In this video we'll talk about everything that happened at the opening 2 stages of the International Junior Grand Prix. Before we get started, this video might be a little bit different. I always try to focus on the positive, but for this video I need to address some very real problems with the sport. I hope you'll stick with me for this one. The ISU Junior Grand Prix series got off to a shaky start. But, to open on a positive note, it's great to see the ISU traveling to different parts of the world where figure skating is on the rise. With locations like Bangkok, Istanbul, Osaka, Beijing, and Taipei City on the lineup. We haven't seen a junior circuit calendar like this since the 2016-2017 and 2017-2018 seasons. This is such a positive step in the right direction, and this should really help encourage the growth of the sport in various regions. At the season opener, in Bangkok, it was really uplifting to see the enthusiasm that the local audience and organizers had for the competition. While the Bangkok rink itself was modern, lovely, in a unique setting and couldn't be faulted. The same could not be said for the ISU stream on YouTube. Unfortunately, we witnessed some significant technical difficulties that caused major interruption to the broadcast while the competition continued, which meant that many fans missed out on viewing large portions of the event. This affected all disciplines and seemed a little unusual considering the venue had recently played host to the Asian Open Trophy and other competitions in the weeks prior. And these went off without a hitch. So, we can only surmise that the technical issues were related to the ISU approach to streaming and broadcasting. Significant portions of the opening day were unwatchable. And all the while there was huge confusion amongst the disappointed fans in the chat on YouTube, with the ISU and commentators providing little to no updates. Many fans were left let down by the viewing issues as this was the season opener they had been looking forward to. It must have also been very disheartening for the athletes, as for many it would have been the first time they had the chance to show their skills on an international stage. Even after the event concluded, many of the programs that we should have expected to be recorded and uploaded remained missing from the ISU channel. On checking today, they still appear to be missing. It's highly unusual for a large organization, like the ISU, not to have a contingency plan in place for technical problems such as these. But it appears that the ISU do not. These issues cannot be blamed on the venue and local hosts, as this has happened frequently before at various ISU events, but not quite to this extent. There also appeared to be some friction and unpreparedness among the 2 main commentators, who also failed to address the problems as they arose. Afterwards, apart from a small apology, they mostly ignored the huge technical glitches and moved on quite quickly, with no proper explanation for what had just happened. To add to the awkwardness, the commentary team forgot to switch their mics off after the broadcast, which led to levity in the chat. To top everything off, the commentators encouraged viewers to stay tuned for the medal ceremonies. But the streams were promptly cut off without explanation, so nobody was able to watch the medal ceremonies in the end. This happened again at the next stage of the JGP in Linz, Austria. It's sad to see this happen, as it takes away the young athletes' moment of glory, when the entire purpose of the Junior Grand Prix is to promote young, up-and-coming talent. Another point to note is the lack of crowd and audience in Linz. It appears that there was a serious lack of marketing for this event, as the stands were mostly empty on each of the days. This has to be very disheartening for young athletes who could benefit from the support of an enthusiastic crowd. This may be a European issue related to skating, as there was a good crowd in Bangkok, where it seemed if there had been more seating capacity those seats would have been filled. It was intriguing to see a larger turnout in an emerging market versus an established, long-standing European market. Presentation at the Linz venue was a bit disappointing. They seemed unprepared. On the opening day, the kiss and cry area was not completed, with background banners still being brought in and placed behind the athletes and coaches as the competition was underway. Between that, the delayed music and some questionable ice resurfacing practices, it didn't project a very professional image, and considering the current state of the sport it doesn't do much for encouraging growth in the fanbase. While the commentators insisted there was a crowd in Linz, and some could be heard applauding, why then were they placed behind the cameras, giving the impression of an almost empty rink? I know that many of these venues don't have large budgets for hosting, especially for junior events. But clever planning, design, and spending choices would go a long way to fixing this. The ISU needs to encourage and enforce presentation standards for host venues, and this should play a bigger part in their selection processes. I hope for the sake of both skaters and fans, that the ISU makes some significant and urgent changes going forward. Unfortunately, these are just a few of the issues the sport is currently facing. These are some of the most talented young figure skaters we've seen. They deserve a quality platform on which to showcase their skills. I'd love to see the ISU succeed in making the necessary improvements and changes in order to improve the sport. It's a difficult road, but I really am rooting for them. Having said all of that, now let's take a look at the opening Junior Grand Prix of the season in Bangkok. It was difficult to know what to expect so early in the season, but there were several standout performances, such as from the newly returned Chinese skaters, Rui Chintong and Ro Tang Li. Sofia Shifrin, representing Israel, who trains with Yevgeny Plushenko, also put on an impressive display. Tara Titakane Shiga, also known as Anri, who was representing the host nation, performed exceptionally well considering the pressure she was under skating at a home Grand Prix, and also recovering from injury. Now we'll move on to the podium places. Hee Soo Han's experience shone through as she placed third for Korea. Yoo-Sun Kim made her JGP debut. You might be familiar with the name as she is the sister of well-known young skater Yoo Jae Kim. These Korean twin sisters are going to be a formidable skating force in the future. Yoo-Sun was also the first lady to land a triple axel on the Grand Prix circuit this year. She also became the third Korean woman to ever land a triple axel in competition. Ami Nakai went into this JGP as the favorite, with her impressing everyone with her rapid progression last season. Although her signature triple axel did not work out here, she more than lived up to expectations by grabbing gold. Next up, we have the men's competition with Minkyu Seo placing 5th overall. He gained a lot of new fans last season, but unfortunately at this event we saw that his triple axel isn't consistent yet. And he dropped quite a few points. He has lots of potential, but unfortunately this event didn't go to plan. But he's definitely one to watch out for as he works out some of his jump issues. Jacob Sanchez, of the United States, placed 4th. After being away from the Grand Prix circuit for some time, Jacob had looked very promising in training lately, and this strong form continued into the short program. He went into the free skate in the lead, but unfortunately, possibly due to pressure, he didn't quite perform to the same level. But he remains a promising talent for the USA for the future. It was a happy surprise to see a New Zealand flag on the podium, with Yen Hao Li placing 3rd. He performed wonderfully in both programs, and received personal best scores in each. In 2nd place we saw François Pitot of France, continuing the strong recent form of French men's skating. And finally, in 1st place, was Ryo Nakata of Japan. He certainly made a great impression and is making great strides since his debut on the JGP scene last season. He landed a quality quad toe and a triple axel combo in the free skate, and seemed to be really enjoying his jumps. It's nice to see that he is steadily gaining confidence now that things are falling into place for him in competition. In ice dance, 2 returning ice dance teams from last season took the top 2 spots. Neset and Markelov and Fraji and Forno finished in 1st and 2nd place. Kim and Lee of Korea took bronze, and it's great to see Korea forge ahead in ice dance with their skaters taking 3rd. The 2nd round of the Junior Grand Prix was held in Linz, Austria. We were treated to displays of talented skating from lots of unexpected places, including Jana Horsikova of Czechia, Maria Elise Kaljuvera of Estonia, and Ida Kurunen of Finland. It was also great to see China and Canada continuing their rebuild with Ruyang Zhang, Mingxi Zhang, and Kara Yun respectively. Josephine Lee of the USA and Ayumi Shibayama of Japan had difficult outings, but they have showed they have lots of potential and a chance to bounce back later in the season. One of the standout performances was by Stefania Gladkey of France. She's the French novice champion and has lots of high-profile and experienced names in her coaching team. She has echoes of Lipnitskaya in her skating style. She was so close to the podium this time, it certainly seems that the top step is within reach soon. Min Sol Kwon of Korea had a tough short program after going into this event as one of the favorites. However, she powered on through and put in a stronger free skate that helped her nab a 3rd place podium finish. Haruna Murakami of Japan made an impressive transition back from pairs skating to singles by taking 2nd place. Korean skater Jia Shin continued her impressive run of form by taking gold. After a very strong short program where she hardly put a foot wrong, and with just a couple of errors in the free, she continues to evolve strongly as a skater. The men here also showed a lot of quality with some unique moves and transitions. 2 of the well-established skating nations took bronze and silver, with Beck Stromer of the USA in 3rd, and Hyung-Yeong Kim of Korea in 2nd. It was a pleasant surprise to see Slovakia take the top spot with Adam Hagera finishing 1st. It was disappointing that we had to wait until the second JGP round in Austria to see a field of competitors in pairs. Again, two of the top nations in pairs skating are continuing to bring on young talent. Flores and Wong of the USA took second place with Ariano Kent and La Liberté Laurent in first. It's also great to see China putting the focus on continuing its pairs rebuild with Shi and Wong finishing third. In ice dance, Grimm and Savitsky of Germany continued on their strong form of last year by placing first. The familiar nations of ice dance rounded out the podium places with the Peels of the USA finishing third and Nguyen and Zhang of Canada in second. I hope you enjoyed my breakdown of everything that happened during the opening 2 stages of the Junior Grand Prix. Sorry for my rant at the beginning, I just want the sport to grow. I'll try to cover as much of the JGP as I can, but we're coming into the part of the season where so much is happening, so unfortunately, I likely won't be able to cover everything. I'm only a one-panded team for the most part, but I'll give it my all. Be sure to follow me and subscribe for more figure skating videos. Thanks for watching.